Hey, what's up? What's going on, everybody? I'm so glad that you guys are tuned in to Coach Williams University, the From Hurting to Healing podcast. I'm so glad that you guys are here today. And y'all, there is a word for somebody today. Do you hear me? Y'all, listen. Thank y'all first and foremost for tuning in. If you don't know what Coach Williams University is, Coach Williams University is a community of individuals that are focused on shifting from hurting to healing by transforming our minds. And so, welcome to CWU, baby. Y'all, we about to put the work in. Are you ready to put the work in? Like, I think that a lot of people be like having goals and stuff like that. And it's not the fact that they don't want to put the work in, they just don't have the coach. Y'all, I'm Coach Williams, baby, and I'm here to help you transform your mind. Because I think a lot of people fall in the position of they really want to transform their life, but they don't know how. So, the fastest way to transforming your life is by changing your mind. If you change your mind, everything in your life follows because where your mind is, your life goes. Okay. Your life can be in a valley, but your mind can be on a mountain. So, wherever your mind is, your life goes. It's about your perspective of life. You know what I mean? Like, do you really want to get out your situation? If you do, get a pen, pause it, get a pen, get a paper, and let's take notes because I'm about to drop a lot of gems. God spoke to me from the throne on this one. Do you hear me? And so, y'all, we just gonna jump right on in. But before we jump in, don't forget to participate with me. I know a lot of y'all be like, all right, I'm listening, or you listening on the way to work, which I understand. But if you are by your device and you are at a place to where you can participate with me, make sure you comment in the comments for me, y'all. Chop it up with me because I go back and I read every comment. I watch every like. I look at every like so that way I can pray for y'all. So that way I can know that you're interacting with me. So thank y'all for being here. One more announcement, y'all. I am having my very first masterclass November the 11th at 9 a.m. That's this coming Saturday at 9 o'clock. Y'all, you got to register for it. Y'all, there's already 10 people in it. I just ain't said nothing. I got more than 10 in it, but I'm opening up the registration for more than 10. If you want to sign up, y'all, you still have time to sign up. A masterclass is just it's going to be this one is going to be a virtual space that's geared to teaching you guys the principles one on one in a group, individual, in a class setting. I'm going to be teaching you strategies and tips to shift from hurting to healing by transforming your mind. And so you don't want to miss it. Do you hear what I'm saying? You do not want to miss this masterclass. Oh, did I mention that it's free? Yeah, y'all, it's free. Listen, and God already gave me my second masterclass, but you got to tune in to the first one to get the information for the second one. Y'all, some cool. Okay, thank you, Holy Spirit. There is a group of people who are rising up, who have made the decision to heal and change the world. Because the thing that you have healed from, that's what God wants you to heal other people. Like once you stop, like once you get to the place of healing, it's not meant for you to stop. It's meant for you to heal other people. And I think a lot of us, we have it in us, but we've depended on a church for so long. We've depended on the church to do our job, but God said, you are the church. You are the light of the world, not the light of the church. You are the salt of the earth, not the salt of the church. So it's important for you to take what you have healed from or what you are healing from and go into the world and light up the world. That's what I'm doing. I'm lighting up the world, y'all. And I know that I have a group of people here that want to light up the world, but they just need a coach. They just need motivation. They just need inspiration. And y'all, I don't stop at motivation and inspiration because it's all about transformation for me. Y'all, it's too easy for me to rile y'all up and roo and rah rah. Y'all, it's too easy for me. I can do that with ease. I'm a coach. You know what I'm saying? But I want to raise up a body of people who are committed to the transforming of your mind. You see, the thing about it is transformation is not just a one-time deal. Transformation is an every time deal. You see, I know that there's a diverse crowd listening to this today. There's a crowd who is just listening to it to support me. Thank you. There's a crowd of you who are listening to it because you really want to shift. I believe that no matter what spectrum you're sitting on, I believe that there is always a level in your life that you have to transform. Maybe it's maybe it's transforming the way that you talk to your wife. Maybe it's transforming the way that you talk to your husband. Maybe it's transforming the way that you think about your current job. Maybe it's transforming the way that you treat your kids. I don't know what spectrum you sit in. I don't know what condition you have. Okay, but everybody needs to be transformed in a way that they think. And in Coach Williams University, on this podcast, we're going to be talking about a lot of things. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. And y'all, I can't wait. Y'all, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Are y'all ready? All right, bet. Y'all, I'm ready to. Like, let's jump in. Let's jump in. How many of y'all have seen the Hunger Games? Anybody know the Hunger Games? Y'all, Hunger Games is by far one of my like favorite movie sequels. I love it. It's about to come out again, so I'm binge watching 1, 2, and 3. Hunger Games. If you've watched it, I'm not going to give you any spoiler alerts. Well, I mean, you kind of already know it. I mean, anyway. So Hunger Games got 12 districts. Those 12 districts revolted against the capital, but they failed. And so what the capital did, they created this excuse me, they created these games to where two people from each district, there were 12 districts, so two people from each district had to fight to the death. Only one survived, right? So you got 12 districts, and they did this thing every year. So now you get to the time of the year to where it's time for the districts to offer up the people that's going to fight. Are y'all understanding what I'm saying? So one district, District 12, was a lowly district. It was a poor district. The district had no food. They were just poor. Nobody had ever won from District 12 because they didn't have the resources, they didn't have the people who supported them. So District 12 is about to get ready to nominate their two tributes, one boy, one girl. They nominated the boy, and then they nominated a little girl who had just turned 12. So this was her first time being able to be selected for these said Hunger Games. So the little girl was selected. The little girl had an older sister named Katniss Everdeen. Katniss volunteered herself in the place of her little sister because she know her sister didn't stand a chance against her enemies. Y'all, I don't even want to bother that right now, but I'm gonna just repeat that. Katniss volunteered herself in place of her sister because her sister didn't stand a chance against her enemy. So anyway, they had a saying, District 12 did, and that saying was, may the odds be ever in your favor. Because really the odds were 1 in 24. You only had a 1 in 24 chance of winning these Hunger Games. And no one from District 12 had ever won these Hunger Games. So may the odds be ever in your favor. Metaphorically speaking, y'all are trying to shift. Y'all are fighting for your life. And the odds don't look good because your mama struggled with it, your daddy struggled with it, your granny struggled with it, and your granddaddy struggled with it. Your auntie struggled with it, your uncle struggled with it, your sister struggled with it, and your uncle struggled with it as well. Your aunt and your uncle, all your family struggled with it, and the odds ain't ever in your favor. Spoiler alert, Katniss won the Hunger Games. She won it. They didn't expect her to. She defied the odds. And I'm trying to find people who are willing to defy the odds no matter what people think. You know what I'm saying? Y'all always be like, thank you to my haters, but it ain't about your haters. It's about you and your mindset and your circle of supporters. Do you have what it takes to fight against your enemies? For some of y'all, your enemy is anxiety. For some of you, your enemy is depression. For some of you, your enemy is poverty. For some of you, your enemy is your mind. For some of you, your enemy is your marital condition. I don't know what your enemy is, and maybe y'all are fighting multiple enemies at the same time. Well, may the odds be ever in your favor. I'm trying to talk to somebody about faith. How many of y'all have faith? If you got faith, can you drop faith in the comment section for me today? I say this morning, but can you drop faith in the comment section for me? You got to have faith to shift from hurting to healing. You got to have faith. And I'm not talking about your doubting faith. I'm not talking about, well, if this is in Jesus' will. I think that we use if it's the Lord's will as a cop out. I really do. Well, if it's the Lord's will, then it'll happen. What? Faith without works is dead. Y'all be wanting your ram in a bush without offering your Isaac. All right. Let me slow down because I didn't jump right up in this thing. Y'all be saying, all right, God got a ram in a bush for me somewhere, but you don't be wanting to sacrifice Isaac. And what is your Isaac that you have to sacrifice? Because without sacrificing Isaac, you'll never see your ram. If you don't sacrifice Isaac, you are not going to see your ram. And some of y'all be trying to sacrifice Isaac while looking for your ram. Abraham had no idea that there was a ram in the bush. He just went on the word of God. Y'all ain't with me. You're not with me. Do you have what it takes to defy the odds? By the end of this podcast, you will be able to do three things. You'll be able to, number one, identify your condition. What is it that you're dealing with? And I know that some of you have reached a certain level of perfection that you think that you don't have anything to identify. Some of you think that you don't stink. Some of you think that you got it all together, all right, and you don't have anything to identify. Listen, you do. Identification. The Bible says in Luke that you need to take up your cross and deny yourself daily. It's a daily thing. You have to daily crucify yourself. You have to be renewed daily. So identify your condition. You got to check your faith. And then you'll be able to have an encounter with God, encounter with Jesus. Okay. And so let's go ahead and dive in, y'all. I'm going to talk to you guys out of Mark 5 today. Mark 5 and Luke 8. Is it Luke 8? Yeah, it's Luke 8. Mark 5, y'all, I got the Bible today. Y'all, I got my Bible today. If you're looking for a Bible, I read the New Living Translation version, one step closer. Gives me margins and stuff like that. Like I can like really just write in my Bible, underline it and like just be a really, really good student of it. And I always keep the handy dandy journal nearby or whatever. And so y'all, we're about to dive on in. We're going to be coming out of Mark 5, verse 21. I read out of the New Living Translation, but I'm well versed in the King James and the New King James and the NIV. So when I study, like I go through different versions, because one thing that you guys don't understand is that this Bible was written 2,000 years ago, or whatever. And so, it's there, y'all, when you read the Bible, you can't read the Bible to get a literal translation. You got to read the Bible to get metaphors. Like a metaphor is like a simile. It's like using like or as. It's like where you take a situation and you like make it applicable to your situation. And I think a lot of us have been turned off to the Bible because we've been in church and all the pastors do is just read verse by verse without making it applicable or practical or relatable to our current situations. And one thing that my gift is, I have a gift in making it relatable, practical. So I'm gonna take this Bible story and I'm gonna draw a metaphor, a metaphorical meaning, okay? And we're gonna apply it to our everyday lives, okay? So I'm in Mark chapter 5, verse number 21. We can read two things are happening here, but I want to start with the first one. I want to start with the woman with the issue of blood. Everybody knows about the woman with the issue of blood, right? Oh, if I could just touch the hem of his garments, I know that I'll be made whole. She sat there crying, oh, oh. Y'all know that song? I messed it up. But hey, y'all got it. If you know that song, y'all sing it. Y'all know how it is in old church. Y'all know how it is in old church. So I want to start in Mark chapter 5, verse 21, with the woman with the issue of blood. This woman had an issue of blood of 12 years. And now if you knew anything about the law, you know that she didn't have no interaction. She was isolated. She was quarantined. Like she couldn't touch nobody. If she touched somebody, they would be made unclean. So she had an issue of blood. She was on her monthly for 12 years. Do you hear me? There are 12 months in a year. So 12 times 12 is 144 months. She was on her monthly for 144 straight months. She couldn't touch nobody. She couldn't talk to nobody. She had to do everything like when people weren't there, which means kind of similar to the woman at the well who went there at noon. She was similar. She had to go to the well. She had to go wash her clothes. She had to do all of that when people were not around her. Because she would contaminate them. It was according to the law in Leviticus. According to the law, she couldn't be around people or she would make them unclean. So not only did she have an issue of blood for 144 months, for 12 years, she also really didn't talk to nobody. Her family, she didn't have no husband. She didn't have any of that, I can conclude. For 144 months. She had a condition, but she heard about Jesus. Oh, listen. Y'all, some of y'all have been living your life with a certain condition, for a very long time now. You've been grieving for a long time. You've been dealing with anxiety for a long time. But listen, today you about to hear about Jesus. Ooh, you are about to hear about Jesus today. And the moment you hear about Jesus, that's the one thing that you need to hear about that'll change your life, that'll transform your mind instantly. This lady had an issue of blood for 12 months, but she had faith, y'all. She had faith. I can read about in the Bible. It says in verse 26 in Mark 5 that she had suffered a great deal from many doctors. Over the years, she spent everything that she had to pay them, but she had gotten no better. In fact, she got worse. So she went to the doctors for years and they took her money. For years, they took her money and she got worse. Have any of y'all ever tried to heal, but you constantly got worse? Your brain got worse. Your condition got worse. The communication in your marriage got worse. Listen, she heard about Jesus, so she came up behind him through the crowd. You see, y'all read too fast. Let's go back. She heard about Jesus, so she came up from behind through the crowd. Can y'all imagine this woman right here? She's standing, she's clothed, her skin is covered, she got everything covered, her face is covered because she don't want people to identify her. And she sees Jesus. She heard about Jesus, and then she sees Jesus, and there was a crowd around Jesus pressing him. And so she was like, oh my gosh, now is my opportunity. Wait, he healed people. I heard about this healer. I heard about how he healed the demon possessed man. If I go back, I heard about how he healed the paralytic man, the one that was paralyzed. I heard about how he healed all of these people. And so now it's my turn. So should I press through the crowd or should I not? Like, if I go through there, they'll be made unclean. If I go through the crowd, I could be severely punished for making them unclean. I could be punished for them. And he's a rabbi. I'm a woman. He's a man. I don't have no business talking to him, but there is a crowd. So should I press through the crowd or should I not? Do I want my healing? Y'all, she had faith. Luke 8 says that she deliberately touched him. Jesus said, no, this ain't no normal touch because Jesus, when she touched, she got through the crowd and she didn't touch Jesus. She touched the hem of his garment. And when she touched the hem of his garment, everything stopped. Her blood. She was healed immediately. Jesus was like, who touched me? And then his disciples was like, you see all of these people surrounding you and you talking about who touched you? You silly, bro. Jesus was like, no, this is a different type of touch. She deliberately touched me. See, she intentionally touched me. Out of faith, she touched me. I felt virtue leaving me. And I think some of y'all can identify with this woman right now because some of y'all are sick and tired of being sick and tired. You go to therapists, you go to counselors, you go to church, and yet you are still where you are still in the same condition that you went there going. Well, I stopped by here today to let you guys know that you stopped by the right podcast to get transformation. Come on, somebody. Can y'all put transformation in a podcast? I'm feeling this thing. Some of y'all really want to be healed, but y'all don't know how. Well, as y'all coach, I'm going to teach you how. Type transformation in the comments. Y'all don't leave me hanging. Jesus said that virtue left him. The thing about this healing is that Jesus didn't even do anything. He didn't lay hands on her. He didn't do anything. She touched him and she was healed. Jesus said, daughter, your faith has made you well. He didn't speak a word. He didn't tell her to do anything. It was all her. It was faith. She had enough faith to believe that if I touched him, he'll heal my condition. And y'all listen, there was a time in my life to where I was struggling with anxiety and I was like, I just got to get closer to Jesus. If I get in his proximity, then I'll be healed. And there are some of you that want to be healed, but you're not in proximity with Jesus. You want to be healed, but you still getting drunk every day. You want to be healed, but you still getting high every day. You want to be healed, but you still arguing with your spouse every day. There are things that you are doing that is not conducive to the healing process. And you guys want to heal and want to be transformed, but you still hanging around people who go to clubs every day. Y'all, I'm in this thing today. You still got mindsets that's not conducive of that of a disciple of Jesus. And she was like, I just got to get in his proximity. I was like, I just got to get in his proximity. But y'all, I was smoking every day. I was getting drunk every day. Y'all, my escape was going to my balcony and smoking. That was my escape. But I realized that my true escape wasn't in that blunt. My true escape was in the presence of Jesus Christ. Ooh, oof. Y'all, I feel like somebody is going to be released with that right there. Y'all, you can't half step it. You can't half step it. You got to be all in with him. You got to be able to defy the odds and get through the crowd to get your healing. You got to be able to defy the odds and get through the crowd to get your healing. You have to be able to defy the odds. Are you willing to defy the odds to get your healing? One thing about this story, I'm almost finished. One thing about this story that really stood out to me is that in Mark chapter 5, verse number 34, Jesus said, "Daughter, you missed it." Jesus called her daughter, yet we still call her the woman with the issue of blood. We have a problem with identifying people with what they have been through. Oh, that's Messy Monique right there. Oh, that's Dirty Dan right there. Oh, that's Talk a Lot Thomas right there. We identify people with the condition that they've been through. And every time we read this Bible, we know this woman with the one as the woman with the issue of blood. Why do we say the woman with? The text says that her faith made her whole. She was healed. She didn't have a problem anymore. So why do we still identify her as the woman with? Even in some of our subcategories in our Bible, it says the woman with the issue of blood. She doesn't have an issue of blood. Why are we still identifying her with the woman with? Y'all are still identifying yourself as the person with anxiety. Y'all, I shout out to my boy Tavon. We had a podcast here, never aired, but it was really for me and him or whatever. Since then, he's gotten his degree. Since then, I don't identify as my anxiety or whatever. So that podcast was really for free and for us. But needless to say, in there, he said, Cordarius, I need you to stop saying my anxiety. I was like, wow, I don't understand. He said, because it's not your anxiety. You claiming something that's not yours. And I think a lot of the times we do it to ourselves. We claim things that's not ours. We be like, oh, I got anxiety, or I got depression, or this is this and this is that. And we identify people based off of including ourselves, based off of what we go through and what they go through. Well, Jesus called her daughter, yet we still call her the woman with the issue of blood. She been healed. So why do we still identify her as that? Because when you have a certain community of people, when you heal, your current community of people won't see the healed version of you. They're going to only see the hurt version of you. Oh my gosh. Jesus went to heal people in Nazareth, but they was like, he's just a carpenter's son. So he couldn't do healing in his hometown because they couldn't see him past the son of Joseph. We can't see people past their flaws. We say the woman with, although she no longer has. Let me tell you something today. You got to identify as a son and a daughter. Jesus called her daughter. You are not anxiety. You are not depression. You are not obesity. You are not a screw up. You are a son. You are a daughter. You are a child of God. So you got to realize that, yeah, you may have a condition, but your faith will heal you. And then you got to identify as a child of God, because as a child of God, we were created to be kings and queens. We were created to be emperors and empresses. We were created to have dominion over this earth. We were created to subdue this earth. And now we're letting these things subdue us, but God created us to subdue it. Yes, you're going through it, but what you are going through does not have you. You have it. And so if you have it in the palm of your hand, you could also release it and get rid of it. I'm trying to tell you somebody, I'm trying to free somebody today. And the crazy thing about our lives is that we identify with what our daddies went through, what our mama went through. I am not my mama. I am not my daddy. I am not my uncle. I am not my aunt. I am a child of God. And so that's who I identify as. And I'm trying to tell somebody today that if you want to transform, if you want to shift your life from hurting to healing, you got to transform the way you think about yourself and your condition. Do you still think about yourself? It's never too late. It is never too late. I feel that in my spirit. It's never too late. And in fact, here in this text, while Jesus was healing, the Bible says in verse number 35, Mark 5, while he was still speaking to her, that is the daughter, i.e., the woman with the issue of blood, messengers arrived from the home of Jairus, the leader of the church. They told him, your daughter is dead. Jesus heard them while he was healing her. The text says that, but Jesus overheard them. Verse 36, but Jesus overheard them. While he was healing, he overheard. Some of y'all feel like Jesus not in y'all life. Some of y'all feel like Jesus too busy for you. Some of y'all feel like God hadn't heard your prayer. Yes, he has. Even though Jesus is healing other people, he still can hear you. You just got to keep talking. And I got to keep moving because my time is almost up. They said the girl, see, Jairus had a daughter who Jairus came to Jesus and was like, hey, can you heal my daughter? So while Jesus was on his way to Jairus's house, he stopped and healed the woman with the issue of blood. So while he was healing her, the daughter had died. Jairus' daughter died. And so they came and was like, hey, Jairus, your daughter is dead. Jesus was like, no, she ain't dead. They laughed at him. They was like, they scorned him. They scolded him. They laughed at him. They was like, this guy's cray-cray. This guy ain't, he ain't thinking right. She is obviously dead. She ain't breathing. She turning blue. She dead, fam. Jesus was like, no, she sleep. Long story short, Jesus got to the house, put everybody out, except for the parents and Peter, James, and John. He said, little girl, arise. She got up, started walking around the house. He said, feed her because she's hungry, and they fed her. He said, don't tell nobody what I did. I don't really have time, excuse me, to dive into this, but I just want to make a quick point. Jesus said she was asleep. The crowd said she was dead. Remember, the Bible is metaphorical. Dead represents it's too late. Sleep represents there's still a chance. God want me to tell somebody right now, I'm through. Some of y'all feel like you dead. Some of y'all acting like you dead. Some of y'all feel like it's too late to heal. Some of y'all feel like that you can't heal. You feel like you too old. You feel like you too cursed. You feel like that it is just impossible to heal. You're not dead. You just sleep. There's still a chance. All you got to do is get into the proximity of Jesus. All you got to do is have an encounter with Jesus. You're not dead. You just sleep. Wake up, arise, and eat. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness' sake, for they shall be filled. Wake up, eat, crave righteousness, do the right thing, be close to Jesus. Two things before I close. In this group of scripture, from Mark 5, 21 and following, the woman with the issue of blood came to Jesus. So she was bleeding and she came to Jesus. Jairus' daughter was dead and Jesus went to her. There are some of you who are bleeding that need to make your way to Jesus. You ain't dead yet. You need to get to Jesus. You need to sign up for my masterclass so you can learn how. You need to get to Jesus. And then there are some of you who think you're dead, and Jesus is on his way to your front door. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. He is right here at the front door knocking, right here through this podcast. He came to you. Either way, no matter what, no matter if you bleeding or if you think you dead, Jesus is in your environment right now, and Jesus wants you to heal because Jesus is raising up a new people. Jesus is raising up a people who is healed. Healed people, healed people. I'm trying to tell you, hurt people, hurt people. How do you want to live your life? Do you want to live your life healed or do you want to live your life hurt? If you want to live your life healed, identify your condition, check your faith, and have an encounter with Jesus. It'll change your life. Here at Coach Williams University, y'all, we're gonna get in a minute. That's my timer. Here at Coach Williams University, y'all, we're gonna dive in. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We're gonna have master classes. We're gonna build up a community of people who want to shift from hurting to healing by transforming their mind, Y'all, we're going to have these podcasts. We're going to dive into what identifying your condition looks like. You just got to tune in. You got to chop it up. You got to tune in, be faithful. Y'all, that's my time. I've gone over it. Y'all, I love you. Let's do this thing. Defy the odds. And let's change the trajectory of our life. Because I got healed, my Deuce is going to always be healed. He's going to know how to heal. Champ will be, and Summer will be too. It's more than me. It's about my wife and my kids. It's about leaving a legacy. You can do it. We can do it. Let's walk this journey together. Hey, y'all, I love y'all. This Coach Williams University, baby. It's the you. I love you. Y'all have a good day. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Bye.